Hey, and good afternoon. This is Randy, and you're back on Old Guy Hikes. And today is Sunday, October 26th, 2025. It is about 4:30 in the afternoon. It's about 55 degrees, a little overcast, a little misty here and then. Not too bad, but just a little bit misty. Potential for rain later. I am in southeast Kansas, near Independence, Kansas, near Elk City, Kansas. This is the semi-famous Elk City State Park, Elk City Lake, and the Elk River hiking trail. And I am backpacking it. I'm going to spend at least one night out here. I might do two. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to wait and kind of see how tonight goes. I'm going to see how much fun I have, basically, how cold it gets, how wet it gets. Check the forecast for tomorrow and tomorrow night. Later, or tomorrow, when I'm hiking, I'll just kind of check the forecast, see how things are going, and maybe do two nights. This is a 15-mile hiking trail, 14.5 mile, point to point. So it's out and back basically, but it's 14.5 miles out. So it's a 30-mile hiking trail if you do it as an out and back, if I do the whole thing. I'm not really sure how far I'll go. I have heard word that there are camping spots just about every mile along the hiking trail, so I can pretty much go as late as I want tonight. It's going to get dark early. Of course, this is the end of October, so it'll get pretty dark fairly early. Oops, I almost twisted my ankle already on dang walnuts. We're just going to go until we find a fairly decent camping spot that isn't too dark yet. I don't want to wait till it gets too dark, and then set up camp for the night. Pretty muddy right off the bat, and a nice little muddy hill climb right out of the first little water crossing, but not too bad. So it must have rained here quite a bit because it is pretty muddy. All right, let's hope it doesn't get too awful treacherous, and we'll see what this has to offer us. All right, hang on, and here we go. This is really cool. This is within the first, oh my goodness, look at this. This is within the first quarter mile, really, of the trailhead. You don't have to come in very far at all to see this. This is just beautiful. I have heard so many good things about this trail. I have been encouraged by lots of people to come here, and reading reviews and seeing pictures, and I tell you what, this is magnificent. Look at this. I had no idea Kansas had anything like this. Okay, I gotta get down this fairly slick rock hillside here without busting my butt. Oop. Everything is very slick right now. The leaves are slick, the rocks are slick. But wow, this is cool. Let me get over here and give you a view of this little cavern-like thing that I just walked by. Ah, so cool. All right. Like I said, I'm not even a half mile in. I'm probably like a quarter mile in. Still, you can hear the road sounds. Probably could see the parking lot down there if the trees weren't in the way. So it doesn't take very long from the eastern, I should say, this is from the eastern trailhead. There's two trailheads. There's a western trailhead and an eastern trailhead. And I started from the eastern trailhead, so that's where most of the rock formations, I understand, are close to the eastern trailhead. So that would be the place to start probably, and you're close to the lake that way too. It's really cool, just tons of these little in and outs of these rock crevices. If you're familiar with Kansas City hiking, if you're in that Kansas City area, I would compare it a little bit to Burr Oak Woods, with the little rock formations with the big openings in between, but a little more rugged. Definitely not as, maintained and manicured of a trail as at Burr Oak Woods, but lots of these little rock formations with the crevices in between that you can climb up and in and around. Okay, I'm just under a mile in, maybe even just 3/4 of a mile, and came to the first semi-established campsite, the fire ring, kind of an opening, a little bit of a view of the lake through the woods, not very much. But I've been told you can count on a campsite just about every mile. But we've got to somehow get down this thing. Let me give you a view of it, and then I got to figure out how I'm getting down there. I guess I'm just gonna go down this little crevice right here. There's not very much room for a backpack. All right, well, let's see what we can do. Okay, well, that was an adventure. I'm not sure how many more things like that we'll have, but the only way I could get down there, because my backpack's so large on my back, there was no way I could get through that crevice with the backpack on, so I just had to take it off and lower it down. This is definitely treacherous and rugged. It's a good hike so far, a lot of fun. I'm finally getting a fairly decent view of the lake. It's a big lake. Didn't realize it was quite so big. More semi-scrambling. There hasn't been a ton of this yet, but definitely just a little bit more scrambling than I'm used to on most of the hiking trails I go on. Again, it's not horrible. Pretty easy scramble, but very rocky. And, oh, there goes a deer. Probably not the last one I'll see. Here's our first real overlook. We're at about 1.3 miles. Craggy and pretty. Nice. It's continuing to be very rugged and rocky. I haven't had any more scrambles lately. But lots of big towering cliffs that you're just walking right between. It's really cool. It's been very rugged the entire 1.9 miles so far. But even with the recent rains and everything, it's not super muddy. There's the 2-mile marker. This has been a very rugged 2 miles. It's taken me right at an hour. Whenever you see a bench on a trail, you know there's going to be something of an overlook, probably. Not too bad. Okay, I found a very nice campsite at 2.5 miles, so I'm not going to quite make it to the 3 mile, just because this one's right by a little stream. And what could be better than sleeping with a little running water in the background for your background noise? Alright, so this is my campsite for the night. I'm going to start setting up. This will be my first time setting up the X-Mid 1 for real. I've set it up once in my backyard, but this will be the first time for real. So let's see how she does. Okay, not great, but not bad. A little droopy. I think I need to stake it a little further out, but I think it'll be fine for tonight because it's not supposed to be very windy or anything tonight, so I think it'll be fine. It looks a little droopier right now because I got the doors open. So, all right, time to set up the inside. I'm also testing, well, not testing, I'm also first time out for a new sleeping quilt. I got rid of my, well, I didn't get rid of it, I still have it, my old sleeping bag, and I've replaced it with a Enlightened Equipment 20-degree sleeping quilt, and it's saved about 2 or so pounds off of my weight. So I'm going to try that for the first time tonight too. So we're testing out several pieces of equipment tonight. So got to get the inside set up now. All right, well, I'm all set up. I was thinking about making a fire, but I picked up a bunch of firewood here and there, and everything's damp. So it's just going to be smoky and a fight to try to keep a fire going. I'm not even hungry. At church today, we had a potluck after church, and I ate more than I should have eaten, which is pretty normal for a potluck, I think. And I'm really not even hungry, so I'm just going to have a little trail mix and maybe a Cliff Bar later. I'm not going to have a fire. I'm probably just going to sit in my tent and watch some Netflix or something. So tomorrow, I'm going to see how the weather is and how I'm feeling and everything. Probably head down the trail a little further, explore a little more, and see how everything's going, and then either keep going or double back and either go back to the car or find another campsite for tomorrow night. And we're just going to wait and see how tomorrow goes. Really just was trying to test out the tent and the sleeping quilt, and we'll let you know in the morning how they all went. The coyotes just started going wild, calling to each other. They just quieted down. I don't know if this is picking them up or not. One of them was very close, up in the hills behind me. All right, campsite's all cleaned up. It was a very pleasant campsite. Got into the tent about 7 last night, laid in the tent and watched a Netflix movie, and then probably fell asleep around 10. Didn't sleep too good at the first part, just because, you know, normal adrenaline from the day and nighttime noises and all that. Probably, you know, went to good and sleep around midnight. Slept pretty good. It did start raining about 2. This little stream that I'm crossing right now is a really nice soothing background noise all night. But the rain started around 2 and rained till about 5. Not real hard, but just enough to kind of wake you up every once in a while. So it was a little more fitful, and then from 5 till about 7 I went back to sleep pretty good. So pretty good night all in all. The tent did well, marginally well. I still got a lot to learn. The vestibule stakes both pulled out in the middle of the night. I don't know why, if I just didn't get them set deep enough or what. And then, of course, as everybody always warns you about trekking pole tents, is the underside of the fly. The rain fly was wet this morning, and I did have some dampness on the outside of my sleeping quilt, but it wasn't too bad. Just a little damp, like kind of clammy like. If it was much colder, it might have been a bigger issue, but definitely some learning, I think, just to get a tighter pitch basically, I think might help some. The sleeping quilt did well. I still have some learning to do on it, on how to tighten it around myself a little bit better. Today, we're just going to continue on to the west. I don't really know how long. It's 8:25 right now. So we're just going to go as far as we can today, knowing that we've got to, whatever I hike today, I got to add 2.6 miles onto it on the hike back. So I might go 2 or 3 miles. We'll just see how I'm feeling. I'm feeling pretty good right now. So see how rough this terrain is and how long it takes me to go, and then we'll make sure we turn back around in time to get done by early mid-afternoon. The trail is definitely waking me up this morning. It's got a lot of the same rockiness and short little sort of aggressive climbs. Not exactly scrambling just yet, but some pretty good aggressive climbs. Short, 10, 15 feet. Whatever, but still fairly steep. Definitely rocky. It's getting my attention right away, so luckily I had my coffee, so I'm wide awake. This is the next campsite. Really all that's here is a fire pit. It's right on the trail, and it looks like kind of a trail going down. I'm not sure where it goes down because the trail I'm supposed to follow goes straight ahead here. This trail's going down. Maybe it goes to the water, and this is where I'm supposed to go. Not really any good camp spots here. I'm actually glad I didn't keep going to find this last night, because it would have been another half hour of walking, and I already barely made it all set up and everything before dark. Doesn't have a lot of flat, but you could do a fire here, and you could probably set up a tent. Not very flat though. I'm pretty happy with the one I stayed at, I can tell you that, with the little stream running next to it. Here's a real nice campsite just about 20 feet off the trail. It looks like it connects over to some trails going back in, with looks like at least 2 or 3 more sites. This is probably at about the 3.5 mile marker, roughly. It's between the 3 and the 4 mile marker, and it's literally 20 feet off the trail. So we're right at the 4 mile marker. There it is, right on that tree there. And right off the trail at the 4 mile marker is a pretty nice little campsite. It's all in the trees, but it's pretty level. Has pretty openings to the top, so you're not having a lot of stuff drop on you. So that is exactly at the 4 mile marker. Pretty decent little campsite. This looks like it's a pretty regular stream. No campsites around here though, unless you wanted to hammock camp. Nowhere to put a tent. Good water though, good and deep. More craggy cliffs to walk through. It was pretty clear of these for quite a while. There's not very much here, but maybe there's some more coming. It flattened out for quite a bit, a good mile or so, without any of this stuff. And now we're kind of back into it. Let's see how long it lasts. About the 4.7 mile marker, and it looks like we got some fairly reliable water right here, and possibly, no, it looks like I can get across. I thought maybe possibly a wet foot crossing, but there's a good bunch of rocks up here to cross over on, so it shouldn't be a problem. But this looks like it's got water in it pretty regularly, so now this is I'd say the third pretty decent water source in the first 5 miles. Not bad. And right at the 5 mile marker, as people have mentioned, just about every mile marker there's a campsite, and this is a pretty decent one. Again, fairly large, enough space interspersed around for several tents. All right, I'm about to call it done. I'm going to check my map and see what lies ahead as far as any viewpoints or anything, but that's about a 2.5 mile walk this morning, and then I've got whatever it is back. So from right here, I've got a 5 mile walk back to the car. That'll make a 7.5 mile day, which is pretty good. But I'm going to check the map and see what is up ahead. If there's a viewpoint or something that I might want to add another 1/4 mile or so to. But check back with you in just a second and let you know what I decided. Okay, so I looked at the map. There's not really anything interesting for quite a while. I think there's some creek crossings several miles down, but this is pretty much the point right here, 5 miles, where the trail leaves the lake and kind of meanders off into the woods, and the only thing, at least on the map, I can see are some creek crossings later on. 7.5 miles for today is going to be enough, I think, and 10 miles overall for the 2 days is plenty. I got out of it what I really wanted to get out of it: a good workout and testing some equipment, and a nice night by a stream. Pretty good stuff. I appreciate having you along. This was a lot of fun. I would rate this as a 4 out of 5 on my Old Guy Hikes difficulty rating. It's a pretty difficult trail. It is definitely rugged. There's some minor scrambling, a little bit of a short climb there where I had to take my pack off yesterday and lower it down. I'm gonna have to take it off today and boost it up when I get there. So definitely not a walk in the park. Literally, it is a walk in the park, but it's not a figurative walk in the park. It's tougher than quite a few trails I've been on. So a lot of fun though, and come back next week. I'm hoping to go to Knob Noster State Park next by Warrensburg. I've been told by a very good friend that there's some really good colors there this time of year. So I'm hoping to get a good color walk in at Knob Noster State Park for my next hike. Okay, thanks for coming along with me. I hope to catch you out on the trail sometime real soon. Bye-bye.